What's up, guys? Bitcoin came back to $100,000. A good start of the year. We got in the chat here. We got Hbar. What's up, man? Jeffrey, Deborah, Robert. How you guys doing? J.K. Meadows, thanks for the scream there, bro. If you don't mind, can you look at Hbar when you have a minute, please? Yeah, we can look at that right after we look at Bitcoin's price. Just want to make sure we're prepared for potential rejections because it will impact the altcoin space right after. What we got? First time here, Max Wild. Welcome to the party, man. Thanks for jumping on. Okay. Hope you're feeling better, Kyle. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm still on a chair, but I'm doing a lot better. Okay. All right, so we've got. Let's go over Bitcoin's price action. Because it's been a while since I've done a live. I wasn't able to do one last week, and such a bummer. But everything we kind of predicted came through. It's just at a much slower pace than we thought, but that's kind of understandable considering it was a holiday kind of volume. We had a little bit of a Santa rally, but it was pretty short-lived. I think it was around here, right? Yeah, we had a little bit of Santa rally here. Rejection, came back down to retest the uptrending momentum. And this momentum here, this dotted line, has been holding up the price since October 10th. We had a test here, came back down, tested it here. And these things are great for anticipating like potential reversals, range activity, or yeah, they're just handy all around. So we had this bounce off of it here. We didn't actually lose it and have it act as resistance, because if we did, we'd be coming down to about 87K to 85K. But instead, we honored it as a form of support. And now we are leaving this value area here. We built a bit of a flag structure, right? And now we are heading up towards this supply zone's top side here. So we have this supply concern. And the reason why, for the beginners who are watching, whenever you see price action come down relatively quickly, let me change the color because my candle colors are a little bit abnormal. So we got, yeah, a bit of an impulse move, built a base, and then another impulse move. That's a warning sign that there are potential sellers still waiting to try to get out of the market. And they do tend to build order blocks. And we did have an order block here. From here in this zone here. And we mitigated it. Once you tap it, you consider it mitigated. But you got to prepare for the whole structure of that leg to act as form of resistance. So we could come all the way up to the top of it here before we get a rejection, or at least consolidate before having continuation. I think based on our stance right now, we are approaching a previous value area high. We're inside of an order block right now as we speak. So if we end up getting to the top side of this order block and honor the value area high, this previous value high, as a form of support again, then we could build a little bit of a continuation base again and then climb back up to these all-time highs. Or we could start seeing reversal structure, like a double top, head and shoulders, right? And if we lose that value area high, then we'll fall right back down to the value area low and likely see 100,000 act as support instead. So that's Bitcoin's current price action. So it's looking bullish right now. I'm optimistic that we could, see it consolidate and get up to these highs again. But I do want to mentally prepare you for the worst case scenario where we could, double top here, come back down, and maybe even range up until we hit this level again and go back up. But typically when we're in a trending environment, and we kind of stopped that trending environment recently. But if we do start to continue this run again, after we get these momentum bounces, we can get like those aggressive continuations. So we'll see if we end up getting the new high. And if we do end up getting a new all-time high from here, then we start watching the on-chain data and see how it's impacting the on-chain data. This was actually a really good reset to the on-chain data. If I refresh this chart, this is one of my favorite charts for like helping us call the absolute tops of the cycle. So this is the relative unrealized profits chart. This is a free chart you can go and get on Chain Exposed. And over here, when we consolidated from that all-time high and started ranging for a little bit, a lot of people took profits and new investors came in. So it resets this chart when that happens and actually extends our bull market target. So originally we thought exhaustion could occur around 118,000 to 120,000, but this created an extension. So when we get see, we zoom in a little bit here, and where's this data from? This data is a little bit laggy in terms of the data. So this is from like 98K. We are at 1.41 on the RUP chart. So I'm guessing when we get around, when this updates to where we are now, like 100K, maybe 102K, we'll roughly be around like 1.55 again, but we'll be lower than we were before when we were at those levels. So this could have, created the exhaustive target to be around 130K from all the people that exited the market, and now we have new investors kind of like balancing out this chart. So we could have a higher target because of that. The more we range, the better, guys. The more we range, the further Bitcoin can go in terms of our all-time high target for this cycle before we end up going into a bear market. And the more we end up having these little mini rallies with altcoins. All right, so that's Bitcoin. So again, prepare for potential support. If we end up going a little further at this previous value high, which is around 101,500, or if we lose this, prepare for support potentially at this previous value area low, which is not in the proper spot. I've been having problems with my horizontal lines, or rays, sorry, changing its location against the value area data. It's really frustrating. I'm not sure if you guys are dealing with that too, but it's been like that for over a month now. I was hoping that they would get that bug fixed. But anyways, the support here, continuation likely if we hold above this. If we lose this, then we could end up coming and meeting this momentum again and having another aggressive bounce. But what we don't want to see is us losing this momentum and having it act as resistance, because then we could start a more larger term downtrend until we hit around 100 or 84K, 85K, which sounds like a bad thing, but ultimately, so long as this doesn't act as resistance, it's likely a good thing, because we could, like I said before, with the on-chain data, we can reset the market a little bit more and grab billions of dollars worth of liquidity here, which will allow big whales to enter the market, and whales like to hold a lot more than fish do. So it could help increase the floor value of Bitcoin. So that's what I'm preparing for with Bitcoin right now. Now this is the 4-hour chart. If we zoom in on the 15-minute, we don't really have very much data because it's just going straight up from here. But yeah, it's looking good. Let's do my mess here. And someone asked to look at please range. I went into short like an absolute noob. Oh man, that sucks. Well, there are reasons to short at recently, right? We extended past this value area. So don't beat yourself up, because a lot of people prepare for shorts around these zones, right? Just got to make sure you set those stop losses. Those are really, really important. You're allowed to be wrong as a trader. you're supposed to be wrong once in a while as a trader. If you're not wrong, then you're not trading with a stop loss. And if you're not trading with a stop loss, then you put your entire account at risk, especially if you're using cross margin. Or your position at risk, sorry. Yeah. And this is our current momentum, and we're starting to build evolving momentum. So once we get another pullback and a break of structure, then we'll have our evolving momentum that we could pull. And then we could, if we lose that evolving momentum, then we fall down to here, and we could end up ranging or losing it and act as resistance as well. So yeah, things are in the up and up. Where we got, let me just update this. There we go. Let's look at Hbar for, who is the one that requested that? Wonderbar, right? Yeah, Wonderbar wants to look at Hbar. Let's load up. Do we have an Hbar chart? We do not. Okay. We got Hbar here. Let's see what it's doing. Oh, we got some relative movements here. Relative strength. Or in this case, a little bit of relative weakness. It's moving slower than Bitcoin. So this was the level that we wanted to watch the last time we looked at Hbar. We had this falling wedge structure. This was the level that we wanted to watch from here. But we can see that since we last looked at the chart, we had a new level here that we could have monitored and a new level here. So we had the opportunity to jump in on a trade after the 15-minute candle closed above this level right here, and coincidentally it also broke this downtrending resistance. So I would have changed the entry to be right around here, depending on how the candle closed. If it closed within the structure, obviously you wouldn't want to enter a long because this could act as resistance. But instead we got the break, and the measurable base target of this structure is the top of the formation up here. So what I like to do is grab the value area from any consolidation at the top of a falling wedge like this and monitor how we behave against the value area data. We do have a previous, this more macro value area high here that we hit as resistance, but you'd watch to see how we get potential acceptance into this value area here. And we tried to, but instead we double topped against this value area high. And now, after hitting that target, we're starting to consolidate and build new structure. So now we got like a little mini structure over here that we're trying to confirm as support. And I'll show you what I'm seeing in my mind here. We got this here. Okay, and this is the downtrending support. Okay, and so this channel, when you trade a channel, when they break like this, you typically want to wait for a proper pullback and either you can front run a change of character, or you can wait for a more larger time frame break of structure. The change of character, I'm talking about the internal one, was right here when we double bottomed against the support. We broke this level. That could have been a long opportunity, but you'd have to be mindful of this acting as a form of resistance. And we came up and we currently combating this level right here as a form of resistance for Hbar. And we could have continuations, but I prepare for exhaustion at the top side here, just like with the falling wedge. You got to visualize where the liquidity is when structure like this is built. So in this case, when we're downtrending, we're grabbing liquidity from below, and we're adding a liquidity from above. So we added liquidity here when people enter shorts, and they place their stop losses up here, or if they're using high leverage, they would have liquidation levels up here. So these are levels that market makers go after. grab all that liquidity from all the people jumping into shorts. And we grab the liquidity from above this range activity. We came up through here. And let me just mark this level here with the horizontal ray really quick and see if we grab this properly. So we see here, we got a lot of people love trading this kind of stuff. When you have previous wick activity over here, we know that there's liquidity resting above it. And here we grab the liquidity. It was used as exit liquidity, right? Because we had that initial rejection. We kind of SFP'd. This is like this is called a legacy SFP. When you have price action come up, grab liquidity from above a wick, but that candle closes back inside of the active range. And it closed inside the active range, and that could have been a decent short. And the good thing about these trades is that when you're wrong really quick. You put your stop loss right above the wick, and you enter your short, and you target previous levels of resistance that could act as support. So you'd watch this level very cautiously, but we busted right through it, and then we double bottomed, built an order block, and now we're coming back up to meet this level of resistance. So we got to watch this level right here again, because it could do another more local SFP and reverse from us if we grab that liquidity and have it reverse. But with Bitcoin's activity the way it is, I think that Hbar could likely build a flag structure here and have continuations to this value area high again at 32 cents. What happens after that, we got to wait until we get there. But if we end up seeing this act as a form of support, we could have continuations from there. And then your next area of concern would be the top of this area here at 33 cents. So that's Hbar. It's looking good. Let's look at it in more macro. I want to zoom out a little bit. Okay, so we're building on the hourlies, much bigger flag structure, 4 hour. Yeah, so it looks like it's wanting to build a stronger continuation. Let's zoom out a bit. We visualize the seller's momentum here and the buyer's momentum. So we got the buyer's momentum right here, right? And let's change that to red because we don't want that to break. And then we got, this momentum broke already, so we're kind of uptrending from that. Yeah, so the buyer's momentum started to pick up more. So we need to see this valley area act as a form of support, so we can get that continuation and break this high. If we see that, then we have basically a flag structure that could bring it to potentially, that's huge, like 72 cents. Let's go to the daily for a second. Yeah, we got this previous valley area here, and we're just getting acceptance into it. So I can see Hbar ranging for a lot more time. Yeah, so right now we're kind of like resting off of this previous point of control for Hbar. If I zoom there, so got that level marked. We're like using it. We're building a rounded bottom support off of it right here. So it's looking strong, but we're kind of like range bound in this zone right here against the previous point of control and this valley area high. Looking good. Let's try to catch up on the chat. So please range. Oh yeah, right. You got out Bitcoin and Sol. Can we check Tia? Am I missing anyone first before I jump on that? Sorry, didn't mean to cough there. All right. Please check Atom to $8. Let's take a look at Atom. All right, so Bitcoin got above that value area high. That gives it the opportunity to act as support. Sweet. Okay. So it's looking good. We're approaching the upper side of that supply risk that we were talking about before. Right here. Sorry, guys, I got a scratchy throat right now. Okay. Cass. Okay, so Cass, you're saying that you're with Eva. I thought that was you. I was like, there's no way they met up already. That's pretty cool. So it's nice that the community is actually like meeting each other in person. You two together will be unstoppable. It'll be crazy. Eva's a great trader, so you can learn a lot from her, and I know she can learn a lot from you. So it's really cool that you guys met up. Okay, so let's go to Adam was the other request, right? ATOM. Man. Adam to $8, you say. A little concerned about Adam doing that, but we can. So Adam's got this downtrending resistance that broke right here. We're honoring as a form of support so far. What makes me a little concerned about Adam being able to reach $8, at least with this move, is the divergence that's starting to build. So we need to get that higher high as soon as we can. And honor as a form of support so we can have that continuation. Kind of have like an explosive move out of this structure, out of this range here. Let's change this to green here. Let's see. Change that there. And then here. We got, where are we fighting right now? This. Okay, we got liquidity that we're grabbing through here. If we get above 788, then $8 will be out of the question. We'll go right to 823. We had a volume gap here. So we'd have a relatively fast-paced move if we get above 792 for Adam, up until like 823. I want to zoom out really quick and see what we got. Oh, more bigger picture stuff here is looking a little bit cleaner. All right, so Adam, yeah, we lost this momentum here that held it up since $3.85. Roughly around the time Bitcoin confirmed us to range. See, it's weird that it's been doing that lately. Bitcoin, whenever it ranges, alts have been like dropping instead of pumping. Like, remember when Bitcoin was ranging from February all the way to October, and alts were just constantly bleeding to the downside, most of them at least. And now it's, but before and back in the day, whenever Bitcoin ranged, alts usually thrived because traders got bored. Yeah, so we broke this down, trading momentum, more macro on the hourly. So the pace of the buyers are starting to pick up. So I'm hoping that overall that we do get that higher high for you guys, and then we get that $8 target that you have in mind. I'm guessing you took Thesis's trade on Adam if you're wanting to get to around $8. And if you are in Thesis's trade, then you're doing really well right now. So congrats to anyone who took it. Pretty textbook trade, honestly. Like, look at this. Downtrending resistance. We break. So a breakout trader would have entered here during this candle. I would have entered this as a breakout trader because of like where we were. But man, this cough's driving me crazy. Your stop loss would have to be really steep, like way down here. You have no capital guard. But if you see a situation like this where you have a big move after a breakout, don't take the trade. Wait for a pullback just like this, and then a higher high, because then you can use the pullback itself as your stop loss guard, and your capital be be working for you a lot better, right? You would have like this move right here is a 1 to 2.5, so you'd be, if you risk to lose $100, you would have made $253 if you got out there, of course. But if you went in as a breakout trader, the exact same move, you'd be risking to lose $100 to gain $100, and that's not proper risk management. So yeah, I want to see for anyone who's holding this a higher high, and that higher high to act as a form of support, so we can have that continuation, and then break 792. 792 is like the final boss before jumping right to $8.23. So Adam's looking good. What do we have for... Man, I'm tired of this cough. What we got in the chat here? I didn't have a cough before this call. So... When might Pol wake up? End of summer 2025? I don't know if Pol will ever wake up, man. I'm tired of them constantly rebranding and resetting their charts. I kind of boycotted Matic, or Polygon, or Pol, whatever you want to call it. Let's look over it, though. And I'll tell you why I boycotted it during this, too. There's Polygon chart. If this chart even works still. It's trying to wake up now. It's looking a lot like Adam a little bit in the macro. Right? We lost. Again, you know, we lost that momentum around Christmas time. Bitcoin confirmed its range and it started downtrending. But where it hit is really important. Where it lost momentum, it could have helped a lot of traders enter a short. Because like when we lost momentum here, we double topped against this resistance. And that resistance was the previous support that held up Matic since 2017. Now this chart doesn't show that because when they rebranded for the third time since I started trading, a lot of the charts just lost data because it's a new ticker and stuff like that, right? So this was holding it up since 2017, and we lost it. When we lost it, that's when I decided I don't want to hold Matic anymore as an investor. My average was like 32 cents from inverse perpetual trading, my average. So I lowered my average quite a bit. And I'm like, I kind of like said, if you break your legacy support, that I'm less likely to hold it because I kind of lose trust in the asset. Legacy support to me is like almost like a floor value to the asset. If you lose that, then you could go much lower, like much lower. You can go to 0. And seeing it act as resistance right now, we want to see that acceptance back above this level. And that's when we consider it woken up, quote unquote. So we do have liquidity stacked above here because of this rejection, which is a good thing. So we could end up seeing consolidation and break that level, and then we'll wake up and see it go to higher prices again. But if we had our full chart here, I would be able to show you that we broke a macro resistance level and then just came right back inside the structure. And that kind of crap, it bothers me quite a bit. Whereas like other network-based tokens, what this shows us is that people are taking their funds out of Matic and putting it into other network tokens that are performing a lot better, like SUI, Injective, like those new tokens, those new network tokens are siphoning the market shares from the weaker ones, and it seems like Matic is one of the ones that's getting pummeled from it. So we need to have Matic break above 78 cents for it to kind of establish bull market behavior, if that makes sense. Right now we're trying to double bottom on the daily. We didn't have a proper 2-candle pullback, so you could technically use this as a stop loss guard, but swing traders, they want like a proper 2-candle pullback and then a break of this level. But if we break above it and then we have active support, then we can use that as a stop loss guard too. And when you target up here, be cautious here, right? And if we get above this, then you can hold your trade rather than exit your trade at that target. So just be mindful of 67 cents. If we break above this neckline, that's roughly where I would target, because if we end up hitting this as resistance, we could start flagging, and then we'd have a strong continuation after that. Lower time frames, like it's really choppy. This is Coinbase's chart, so sometimes you'll have these gaps because they have illiquid moves all the time, because they don't have very much trades in their order books. Not a lot of people like trading on it. The Coinbase is good for investors, like especially young investors, but it's not great for traders because the fees are pretty intense. Okay, let's try to catch up on the chat here. So we looked at Atom, we looked at Matic, we looked at Bitcoin, we looked at Hbar. Good God, out of Bitcoin. Can you check Tia? Tia. Let's do Tia. Okay. See if we got a Tia chart first. We do not. And let's see what we got going on here. So that's a 15-minute chart. We are range bound right now. Let's grab value area data. We just used the value area high as support. This is the current point of interest right here. So this is where you would prepare for a potential SFP or reversals. So a lot of people will prepare for shorts around this zone, unless we see it act as a form of support. And then our next area of concern. Let me zoom out on it. Why is it so messy? This chart looks terrible. Okay. And that's the downtrending. Okay, it's been downtrending since February. It's pretty rough. But it woke up a bit here. Hit this previous value area. Right, so we consolidated right here. We hit this previous value area as resistance. Double topped against it. So there's a lot of confluence here to enter a short. And we broke the momentum of this downtrend since we hit that value area recently. And right now, on the daily, we're trying to use this level right here as a form of support. And that previous level of resistance is basically the active value area low. So we really, really want 573.9 to hold as a form of support for TIA. Now we have the momentum-based move from the double bottom, giving us a, let's see, where's that target? That target's roughly around 607. and that aligns with this previous level of support that could act as a form of resistance. Okay, so it does look like it's going to try to definitely come up and meet this level, but you got to watch out at 616 can act as a form of resistance. So if you're in a short-term trade and your stop loss is relatively close to the price, prepare for a potential take profit around here. What we want is to just break through it, have it act as support, and then give us that continuation so we can mitigate this supply risk right here, and maybe even target all the way back up at $9 again. And maybe this next time around, we can see this turn into a more macro double bottom, right? And give us a target of reaching these highs again. But T is looking relatively weak compared to other assets right now. It started off so strong. But locally right now, we could see it at least get to this area. If we zoom in on the 15-minute, one of two things will happen. We'll see a rejection very soon, probably during this call. And if we get that rejection, if we get acceptance into this value area again, then you target this value area low as your short target. And hopefully you get a good stop loss guard so you have proper risk to reward ratio. Or we get above this high, have it act as support, get a good stop loss guard here, and you could target that 616 level right here. Looking good. And what I would love to see is if anyone gets in on that long, or got in on the long of this double bottom here, I'd love to see it get acceptance into there for you so you can have your short-term scalp turn into a swing trade. Because remember, this is the top side. We're trying to build support off of a more macro double bottom on the larger time frames. So this is like a confirmation formation. The formations built on top of levels that allow you to confirm bigger structures are called confirmation formations. And they're great tools, especially for beginners, to get in on bigger moves. So yeah, that could be great. So that's TIA. What do we got? Can you talk about CRO? Yeah, let's do CRO. Let's take a look at that. I'm not going to bother looking for a CRO chart in my thingy because I don't think I have one. And I keep meaning to look at my CRO balance because I know I have some. Because like back in the day, I used to refer people to it when it first came out because I knew it was going to be a great project, especially with the cards and stuff like that. So I had a lot of confidence in sharing the project to people, and I got a bunch of tokens for like referring people to it back when it was first released, so it might be worth some decent money now. But I haven't logged into crypto.com in like 4 years, I think. Where are we? Let's look at it on Bybit. Bybit's always got the best liquidity, especially for like scalp trading and stuff. We got this downtrending resistance here, broke. We're on the 15-minute right now. Okay, and we had a single candle pullback here, and we broke out. This is our current measurable momentum. We didn't have a proper pullback here, so we can't use evolving momentum yet, but we should soon. We're approaching we went right past the area of concern that I would normally state, which is right here. We broke right past that. So now it gives it the opportunity to likely see this act as resistance and have this act as support. And we could build a base roughly around here for a potential continuation or a reversal. But now we got to zoom out a bit, see what the bigger picture is, just in case there's other concerns. We got a double bottom here. We got inverse head and shoulders. right? Or Wyckoff, whatever you want to call it. This, whenever you see stuff like that, you gotta be cautious to its behavior, because it grabbed a lot of liquidity when it did that pump. But luckily, we're building that base on top of it right now. Let's zoom out a little bit further. Oh, cool. Okay. Let's zoom out a little further again. I got something here, so there's got to be like a... Okay. Yeah. Okay, sweet. So right now we're trying to build this neckline as support on the daily. So a massive double bottom, basically. And this is the same thing that we're talking about before with whatever all the assets are kind of blending together. It wasn't Atom, was it? Anyway, the previous asset we were having a Tia, right? We had a double bottom structure and we're trying to build a confirmation formation off of the neckline. So this is like kind of like a structure that's going to allow us to potentially hit this target. It's like a reset. We grab the liquidity from above this area. Let's use this exit liquidity, and now we're seeing this being established as a form of support. So what we need to see on the daily is that higher high. So I got that higher high marked already for that trade that could bring us into our next area of concern, which is this supply risk right here. But the measurable base target is 48 cents. So if we break this level, we can very likely double the price of CRO. That's exciting. So congrats to any holders for CRO. That could be pretty sweet once we break this level here and have it active support. And we're having like a front run move to anyone who's missed out on CRO. We can see that we kind of got like this inverse head and shoulders behavior right now. But in the lower time frames, we're getting that potential break. So we can see this go much further than we anticipated originally. It can go all the way up to like 19 cents is our next area of concern after we get past these zones. And then 21 cents is the next boss. If we get above this, then we can likely see it go to close to 50 cents. But we got to watch 32 cents right here, the bottom side of this supply risk, as a form of resistance, because we could get stopped there or slowed down, you know. So we'll watch for reversal structures. If that neckline breaks, we get a change of character on the daily, then I would take some profits. You don't have to close your full trade, but I would definitely close a large portion of it if you see a daily change of character around this zone, because not everything has to have a new all-time high. Like that kind of mindset could destroy you in the crypto space, so be careful. It's looking good though. Yeah, if you didn't get in during let's grab this here. So we deviated a bit from this valley area, right? This is the valley area. We deviated a bit here. So there's some strategies that will allow you to get in during these lows. Now, I'm the kind of person that likes to jump in knowing that I'm going in on a position of strength. I don't care about the price. I just care about the path that I'm trying to capture, right? And so if I see like a retest like this in a higher high, then I'll usually jump in, have a stop loss guard always in place. I don't have to look far to the left and hope, or look at the order books too often to see if there's a buy wall that can protect my capital. Instead, I can use the actual strong lows as my stop loss guard. The proper strong low here in this scenario wasn't this area here, right? This wasn't the proper strong low. You want to have at least 2 candle pullback. So this right here was a proper strong low that you could use your stop loss guard. And you could have entered here on this candle when we got that higher high, break a structure when we broke this level instead of this, because the candle that confirmed this kind of pullback was way up here, and we didn't have a 2 candle proper pullback for that. So your capital would have been safer using this as your stop loss guard rather than using this. We got looking good though. And let's see what else we got. Kyle, glad you're back. Thanks, man. Can we look at Troy? What is Troy? Troy. I think I've heard of Troy. I haven't charted on here. Let's go to the daily. It looks like I've never charted it before. I don't know if this is the full chart. This is from 2020. Okay, I don't know if this is first liquidity or not. But we can, this is a lot of data that we could use. Let's get this downtrending resistance. So looks like Troy is just waking up. It's been in a downtrend. Like it technically didn't break its macro resistance until November. So it's kind of late to the party, but it's at least it's waking up and it's not going into price discovery anymore. Let's see, you've got. So we broke this downtrending resistance. We got, this was our level right here that we wanted to have broken to prepare for a potential bull market. But we also have this downtrending resistance for these downtrending points of interest where, you know, people prepare to exit the market. And then our next area of concern was here, and we're actually using it right now as support. I would mark this entire zone from here to here as a value area. Mark your value area low. Because that's going to be a battle that we need to fight. We need acceptance into the zone for Troy. We got a previous point of control here. And our previous value area high here. And this is a macro zone. So it's going to be strong. But the good thing about macro zones that are strong is once you get that acceptance in there, then it's like game over. Like we can go right to the almost the all-time high for this. This is basically the final boss before reaching the bull market's value area high. And that's like from 0.0068 to 0.015. That's a huge move. That's 126%. So it's just fighting that final boss right now. This is that area of concern that I was talking about here. We're using it as a form of support. But we need a break. We need to break above this zone and have it act as support in order for us to get to that level. But it's on the right track. We broke that macro resistance. Right? A lot of investors would have came in from this textbook looking pullback, right? When we broke past this macro level here, and we pulled back, had to act as a form of support. Aggressive move. We have an order block, which is a sign of institutional involvement, right? And there could be an order still there trying to be filled. So if we came back down, this could act as a form of support again. Let's go and mark this value area. So we're at the active value area low. Now let's zoom in on lower time frames and see if we can prepare for anything. Oh man, what a drop. That's huge. Definitely. I know this goes without saying, but obviously trade with your stop loss, guys, because you don't want crap like this happening to your capital. You want it constantly working for you. You don't want it trapped. Okay, so we have a cup and handle here. For those of you who aren't familiar with the cup and handle, you get these like rounded bottoms like this, and then you get a pullback. And usually the pullback occurs at areas of supply like this. Pulsive move, base, pulsive move. We're resetting off of it, right? We're letting those people out of the market. They sold, but the buyers are still in control. So we flagged and we broke to the upside. And what you want to look for the measurable base target, there's two ways you can grab your measurable base target off that. This one's going to require a lower time frame, like the 5-minute. So we have here is our resistance. You basically create a T to the support from that level. Click and drag, and there's your target. Or, and these targets should be similar, you grab the flag structure's target. And they're kind of messy. It's a very linear path here. Like, I personally wouldn't have traded this one because I like things picture perfect. I don't want to fight for my money. So this is the conservative base target. I would watch the conservative base target the most because of how it aligns with this previous level of resistance right here at 0.004313. We're just tapping into this supply, this order block here. Let's see if we can establish this level as a form of support and have that continuation. Now, I personally wouldn't be I don't trade Troy, but let's see what we got here. And what we want to see is to get above this point of control and have it act as support so we can start targeting this value area high again. But macro-wise, man, yeah, what you really, really want is to see this level here. Acceptance into this level, and by acceptance I mean you want to have price action get in, like kind of like what I did here, but when it pulls back you want to have it act as support and then a higher high. That is acceptance into a value area when you have your first break of structure into it. And this is a lack of acceptance, and we just got a massive rejection. That's looking good. Where might we drop to pre-aggregation, 91K, as in, what might we be a good price to shoot? Oh, you probably meant short. If you're looking to, shoot for to buy more Bitcoin before the next run. Well, I could tell you where you would want to accumulate, but doesn't mean we'll get there for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin loses its momentum here, and we have this act as resistance, and we lose this previous point of control, this thing's been holding us up really strong. Like, it's doing really well at 92K. If 92K acts as resistance, then this is like kind of like a dream scenario, but doesn't mean we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it during this cycle. A lot of the time, Bitcoin's bull market runs are unsustainable. If you look at history with Bitcoin, in the last bull market, for example, we don't consolidate for very long usually when we have these runs. We get a brief pullback once in a while, but it lasts a maximum of like a month. When is this? This is a 23 days. Then we have this one here. And this is where I believe we are relative to the previous bull market. Like if we look at the previous bull market and where we are now, I think we're here. And we're about to go here. And I say that based on on-chain data, right? How we're getting exhausted around this zone. And so if we have another big run, we'll be at the overheated location, and then where our top will be called. Like this head and shoulders or double top, whatever area you're focusing on this structure here. We were in the overheated zone during that moment, and we're approaching it now. So you might not get 85K because Bitcoin doesn't like to have those cooldowns, and that's why we usually have these aggressive bear markets that pull us back like 80, 90%. Now, things are going to be different this time because we have institutional involvement that we've never had before. Like, we had slight institutional involvement here, but we didn't have ETFs. where they are legally required to hold Bitcoin in order to sell Bitcoin. They have to have a 1-to-1 ratio of their Bitcoin holdings. So there's going to be a lot less sell pressure in this bear market. So our floor drop might only be 60% rather than 90%, or might even be 40% instead, right? We'll see what happens. Just like we prepare for the top here, we'll prepare for the bottom here. I'm thinking that if we do get a good pullback, then 87K could be a good place to accumulate. But 92K is also the best part within the active range that we've got going on right now. So those two locations, if you're a DCA investor, this is a good spot to invest, and this spot's good to invest. So you can control your average between these locations and have a decent price relative to this market, right? The bear market lows, I'm thinking for this cycle could be like 72K right now. Because miners, you got to think about where miners capitulate. Like where is it going to cost where do miners start to lose money? And right now it's costing miners like $87,000 per coin. So if we go below that, then miners start to capitulate, and that's historically the best time to invest in Bitcoin. So if they're capitulating around this price, we might not get to that price during this run. We might just keep going up until we get exhausted. Daily cubic shill coming. Yeah, I can look at cubic for you. Kyle, what are your thoughts on Trudeau stepping down? It's news. Is he stepping down or is he being forced down? That's a good question. My thoughts are, yay, finally. But I don't really like talking politics especially in a live, because some people might like Trudeau, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm really excited for it. It's going to be really good for the economy because the Conservative has really good plans. It'll be the first time in my life I vote. I'll tell you that. Okay. Mind looking at OM. Okay, we'll look at OM, and then we'll look at render. Oh, what do you mean? What it means for us? Well, Canada will be a healthier economy, so that could help people invest. Everyone in Canada has a really, really hard time investing right now because of the cost of everything. We're inflating 37% faster than the U.S. is. The Canadian dollar against the U.S. dollar is a huge premium now. It's like a 40% gap. So now when I pay myself as a trader, it feels a little bit better because everything I earn is in U.S. dollars, and then I pay myself Canadian dollars. So I feel like I'm giving myself like a little bit of a raise. But really, what's happening is my purchasing power is getting lower and lower and lower. So I think it'll be good, especially for Canadians. More strength in the market from the Canadian investors. Daily. Okay, let's look at Cubic, and then OM and XRP and Jasmy. Okay, lots of requests. Let's do the top of the list first, so it's fair. It's going down here. So if we're going from the top of the list, the first request was Dot. It was the next one. So let's look at Dot next. I think I have a Dot chart. I do not. So let's look at here. Okay, so Dot. Oh, we had a really good squeeze and I missed it. Why did I miss that? Oh, that's when I started getting sick again. I had pneumonia during a really good move, and now I had like this mystery lump that I just got like resolved during another amazing move. So dot measurable base target for this structure is the top of the structure up here, around $10.54. We do have an area that we're trying to combat. We had this previous demand zone right here, where a lot of averages could be, right? A lot of investors jump in around here. So if anyone with weak hands would exit the market, so it slows down the move, because we had a decent pace going on right here, but then we lost that momentum. But it doesn't mean we're going to go down. It just does. But it does increase the chances of a reversal, and it increases the chances of consolidation. And we definitely consolidated, and we're breaking new highs. We want this body candle on the hourly to close above this level here to increase our chances of that continuations to our next area of concern. Let me just update this value area data. Let me delete this too. Okay. This is our current value area data. Well, now it makes a little bit more sense as to how we got rejected there. This point of control is in line with a more macro value area high. So this is 865 is definitely going to be a problem when we get there. And we can move this to here. There, that's a lot cleaner. Okay. All right, so we got this value area data here all organized. Let's go zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, we don't want this candle to close below this body structure, because then we could end up maintaining this range a little bit longer. What we do want is acceptance into this previous value area low, so we could target this previous point of control up here. So we want to see $8 act as a form of support, so we can reach 865 next, so we can maintain the pace of this move, so we can end up hitting the more macro target here around $10. So really textbook setup, right? Right about here. Double bottom break out of the falling wedge. Like easy mode trading right there. This is definitely a swing trade. This trade could last. Well, if we maintain the previous momentum, it would give us an easier idea of how long it would take for us to hit that target. It'd be about 3 days from now. But we lost that momentum, so when we get that higher high established, we can draw more broad momentum here. And that can give us an idea, if we maintain this momentum, how long it could take for us to hit that target. It would be about 8 days instead. But first, we need to see that acceptance in this value area so we can hit that zone. If we get past this, then we can start targeting 976. But yeah, DOT's looking great. Well, what's we got? ELF. Let's look at ELF. ALPH, right? Okay. What we got for our choices here? BitGet, it's got great liquidity. So let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. Zoom out on the daily. Oh, it doesn't have very much history. So the beginners that are watching, you want to see a dinosaur down here. If you don't see a dinosaur, then you have a guarantee that the chart you're looking at isn't the full history of the price action of the asset. You want to look for that dinosaur. There we go. I've charted it before, I guess. And there's that dinosaur right there. So we got... It doesn't mean that like it's supposed to mean that this is the full price action of the asset, but sometimes TradingView has it wrong. But you do want to typically look for something like that if you're looking at a brand new asset and you want to make sure that you're looking at its proper all-time highs and stuff like that. Okay, so it looks like Alf tried to break this downtrending momentum here. There's a lot of negative space. Like, we didn't have a test here or anything like that to confirm it, because I like to see 3 tests on a trend line, like a 3-touch rule, so you know that a lot of traders are respecting that level. But instead, when we broke past it, we did not get the break of structure continuation. Instead, we double topped. So I have that level marked here the last time we looked at it to prepare for a potential reversal. And it looks like when we broke that level, zoom in on the hourly. Okay, this is the hourly level here. This must be a larger time frame, like the 4-hour. Not the 4-hour. Oh, it must be the daily. Yeah, it must be the daily. Yeah, that's the daily level. Okay. So if the daily closed below that, you can prepare for a short. But the hourly would have gotten you in later on the move, but you would have a really good stop loss guard when it broke, right? So we came down, retest that daily level, and then got a lower low. That lower low was a confirmation for the double top break. And you can use this as your stop loss guard. And it would have been a great short. I missed my own setup. And if you're someone who struggles with their emotions and holding the trades properly, like there, obviously you can use momentum to help guide you and wait for it to break first. But moves like this make it easier for beginners to hold their trades that are still struggling with controlling their emotions. When it just goes straight down like that. But now we're trying to bottom out. So I would mark this value area here. And we have a trade potentially coming up soon for it on the lower time frames. So we got this downtrending momentum. This is basically my range-based strategy right here, by the way. So anyone who's just listening in for the first time, this is how I like to trade ranges. If I see a value area like this, and we have a decent momentum that's easy to track, right? All these retests, whereas lots of liquidity being added to the market, and we're at a value area low, I want to see the change of character occur either within the value area like this, near the value area low. And once that breaks, I'll target the value area high and use the low as my stop loss guard. Or a deviation away from it, which is even better. And when we get that change of character, we get the simultaneous acceptance into the value area. Those are better because you usually have a better target to the value area high. And you can use that low as your stop loss guard. This price action's pretty wicky, but just give it, I would use an average true range in a scenario like this where you have lots of wicks and stuff like that, so you make sure you don't get stopped out unnecessarily. But this is the setup basically right here. You target pair around here, or you can aim for the extreme highs around here. You want to have at least a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio when it confirms, though. So if you don't, wait for a break of structure, be patient, and then use that as your stop loss guard instead, because it might give you a better entry despite the price being higher. Right? Might give you a better risk to reward ratio. You could have tripled your money waiting instead of doubled your money. Render an XRP. Okay, XRP was next on the list, so let's take a peek at XRP. But this is, yeah, ELF short term. That's all I really got for you for at least the short term move here. You do want to break this level So you have a chance of potentially retracing back up. But it's not looking strong. It's looking pretty weak right now. But this is what you want to see. You want to see this level break here. For the more macro reversal, it will likely consolidate against this again. But if we get the break, well, in scenarios like that where you have immediate resistance in your face and you want to have this level break and act as support, so that way you can at least confirm that we're not going to have a reversal inside the value area again. What you want to see is see something like this. We might get a rejection off of this previous level of support to cause the pullback and then the higher high. If the higher high gives you acceptance above a previous resistance and confirms a previous level of resistance as support, then you have basically double confluence to enter that long position, and you can target the next level of resistance. Okay. Just cleaning up my chart a little bit. And going to XRP. I'm pretty sure I got an XRP chart, so I'll look that up. I do, yeah, okay. Cool, okay. All right. Well, it's still maintaining its momentum. That's crazy. Man. I'm just going to the daily for a second. Why am I on virtual? Okay. All right. Well, this is virtual. For some reason, on my XRP chart, I navigated away and looked at virtual. When we were looking at it last time, we marked levels of concern for reversals. We never got that break. This was the level that we're watching for the continuation of this momentum. And we got that break, so it's still doing great. And this was the next level of concern that I had marked. We broke past it, had it honor as a form of support, got a continuation, and now it's still maintaining its move to the upside. Like, it looks like we're breaking this momentum here. We got the internal change character here. So this by itself is technically a trade. Stop loss guard here. This was the confirming candle here. So we can start targeting these levels here. 460, 492. That's intense. Okay, so let's go to XRP properly here. So we got what price do you think Bitcoin will exhaust at its current momentum? Which time frame, man? I'll take a look right after this. Okay, so we can update this because I haven't looked at it since here, where we had a potential long opportunity. See, we broke this momentum, right? Basically, textbook way I would trade is this as well, right? We break this active momentum. I marked a supply concern here. It looks like it was a short-lived move. It didn't make it to the It didn't even make it to the point of control. We got to the supply risk here and then rejected. And came back down. So you probably would have taken a partial here if anyone followed this. But when this level lost here, you would close your trade at a small win. A very small win for the rest of it. Small wins are better than losses. When you listen to those warning signs, when you get that, those change of characters go against you. So now we can update this value area with the active data. The last opportunity was here at the value area low, when this momentum broke, right here. Oh, it's so clean too. Man, XP is a great asset to trade. I don't hold very much of it, but trading wise, it's when it has volume, it follows TA really well. So here we broke momentum, right? Pullback, proper pullback, and then higher high. So I would have entered probably during this candle right here. Stop loss below the strong low, because we got the acceptance into the value area. The same time we honored this momentum as a form of support. So that's a lot of confluence that you'd want to enter along on. You'd target the point of control, or you target the value area high, but be mindful of the point of control. We're at the point of control now, but we kind of like tapped the value area high right here a little bit. Well, barely front runned, but yeah. So XRP is just it's maintaining its active range. It's on top of its previous all-time high support right now. If we zoom out on the 4 hour or the daily, this is the previous all-time high here. We're trying to establish it as a form of support. We want to flush out old investors and let new investors come in so that we have like the kind of like the floor value of XRP increased a little bit more. If we have most of people's averages above the previous all-time high, it'll be much harder for it to drop. Because a lot of people don't like selling at a loss. They would rather sell at break even or at a gain. Depends on how emotional most people are. But if you look at on-chain data, it suggests that most people hold until they're at break even, and then they sell and they exit the market and they don't look at it. And then they look at it when we're at new all-time highs, buy again, and then the cycle continues. It's kind of sad. But zooming back in for XRP, its current price action doesn't really give us much to go off of, other than the fact that, like, actively, if we get this value area here, we're at the current value area high. We broke this momentum. So it may try to retest this value area high again. If we see it act as support, this is our next level of concern here. And then lastly up here. So we can go back up to, if we see this value area high act as support, we can go back up to 273 and 291. And past this is price discovery. So you would be cautiously watching psychological levels, like rounded numbers, like $3, $3.10, $3.20, $3.30, and look at the order books to see how many sellers are at those levels. If you see a ton of people are preparing to sell at like $5, for example, that could give you some insight into preparing for maybe XRP's all-time high for this cycle. I think that XRP could still potentially like 1.5x from here, or maybe 2x from here. But I'd watch Bitcoin more than XRP when you're trying to call its all-time high. See where Bitcoin is on this chart. If we start getting overheated, and let's say XRP is at like $4 or $5 when Bitcoin's in overheated zone, I would prepare to start offloading some funds with your altcoins. But obviously, wait for those macro structures to break first if you want to get. You won't call the perfect tops, but you'll get at least you'll have the top, like it's actually confirmed at that point. Okay, trying to catch up here. All right, someone asked about Bitcoin's momentum, current momentum. So if we go to cancel that. This is not okay. It's auto saving. Okay. All right. Let's go to Bitcoin and let's answer that question about Bitcoin's active momentum here. Oh, right. So the active momentum isn't really established yet. So we have broad momentum here, but when you have this negative space, we move quickly up past momentum, you got to wait for a proper 2-candle pullback before you can start drawing the evolving momentum. And then at the evolving momentum will tell you when you can prepare for potential reversals. Because when the evolving momentum breaks, we normally have a change of character happen very shortly after. And when that occurs, you exit or take some profits. This is telling us that the pace of buyers have picked up a lot after breaking recent resistance. Get that break of structure, continuation. So right now we're consolidating it off of the previous value area high. I have a theory that we're likely going to have a potential reversal here just based off of the data that we have. We have supply risk here, we have an order block here. We are on the previous value area high. So if we lose this value area high as support, then you'd exit your existing long positions or take some profits. But not, maybe during this call we'll find out if we get a proper pullback, we can just see if there's new momentum that we can follow. Okay. On the Bitcoin macro after this market reset, what's your next target for around when Bitcoin tops? Do you foresee we're getting to the total market cap of near 10 trillion this cycle? 10 trillion? No, I don't think so. Not this cycle. You're asking Bitcoin to 5x from here, like $500,000 per Bitcoin. I don't think we're getting to 500,000 this cycle. There are some scenarios that are not positive scenarios that could cause us to get to 10 trillion. And that would be like the devaluation of the US dollar. Like if they just print a bunch of money because of something, then maybe that's a really bad scenario, but I don't think we're going to get there this cycle. Likely, I could see us getting there next cycle for sure, but I don't think we're going to get there this cycle. An optimistic market capitalization for Bitcoin for me for this cycle would be 4.5 trillion. And it's roughly around Bitcoin's price would be like 250K. But I'm the kind of guy that doesn't try to predict the tops too much. Like my prediction since ever since Bitcoin's been at 16K, when I entered my macro long, my prediction's been 167,000 for the top. And that's based on this data here and how we behaved in previous cycles. Now, how we're behaving in this cycle is dramatically different than any other cycle that we had. So I think that my top prediction could be wrong. We could go further. Yeah, based on the overheated chart, I'm a reactional based target trader, so I don't care what the top is. I just look for all the on-chain warning signs to tell me when it's time to get out. So if I got the on-chain warning signs, the last thing I need is just that daily change of character for me to confirm the top in case we get that last little burst continuation. It gets pretty simple. Like I can go over it one more time for you guys if you'd like, how I call it the macro tops. I just want to make sure I go through everyone's TA request first. SPX 6900. What is that, bro? I haven't seen this one before. It's on Blowfin. December. Oh, dude, this is young. Super young. So it's a legacy line. I don't know if this is the full history of this asset. There might be some decentralized data. This is the all the centralized data that we have available for it. Zooming in on, or we're already zoomed in. This is the 15-minute chart. We got value area here. We got above the value area high. This is where people prepare for shorts usually. But this thing's pretty young. It's in price discovery. So I can prepare you for a short, but I can't really prepare you for a long on this. If we get acceptance back inside this value area here, through a change of character, right? You can prepare for a short and target down here. We have an order block here that looks like it was, where did it mitigate? Oh, that little tiny little tap. I would still prepare for support around here, because we could end up coming up, bouncing off this, hitting the value area high again, losing momentum, and simultaneously confirming the head and shoulders. You gotta be careful what you draw when you're drawing head and shoulders. But yeah, we got the potential head and shoulders that could be front run through acceptance into the value area and a change of character here. You could target these lows. So that's the pathing that I'm thinking is likely going to occur. Like this. I'll make this easier for you guys to see. I don't know anything about this thing, unfortunately. But yeah, it's in price discovery right now. And it's got a lot of negative space to the macro momentum. And we've got this level here we could watch. So if we end up having continuation, if we continue further down, and we have this act as resistance, then this is our next level of concern. And we got a very weak but still notable demand zone right here. So we could bounce off this demand zone, come up and hit this value area low as resistance, and then continue or drop to this momentum, where I think we're likely going to have a bounce. Okay. But yeah, like I said, it's in price discovery, so we could get a higher high, hold it as support, and then continue to go up from here. But it's looking more bearish than bullish. Short term. What we got in Teo? Did I go over? Oh, render is the next request. R and DR. Oh, I think we got a render chart actually. Let's look that up. We do. Okay. $8.90. Nice. Okay. I hold a little bit of render. Let's look at daily. That's not right. Well, is the okay? Maybe it is. Okay. Well, it's not. We don't have the. Look at Bybit's chart. Oh, I'm on Bybit's chart. Let's look at Binance. There we go. That's better. Jeepers. It's been a while since I looked at it. So, yeah, render. See, we lost this momentum here when Bitcoin, yeah, started ranging, just like everything else started dropping when Bitcoin was ranging for that between February and October. We built a base of support in this demand zone here, and then we had this double bottom here, and it looks like we just hit that target recently on Christmas, like Christmas Eve. Oh, no. The 6th of December. I'm looking at 24 and thinking it's the date, not the year. So yeah, we hit that. So that did really well. We hit that target. Did we grab that liquidity? We might have on other exchanges, but we had liquidity here. Let's grab that magnet for a second. Let's make this a little bit thinner. How close is that? That's insane. Yeah. So I'm gonna grab some of that liquidity by a fraction of a cent there, and then dropped after perfectly hitting that target for the double bottom structure. And now we built a new double bottom. This is the daily, right? And we go to the lower time frames because it's kind of young structure. We can move this. We don't need this anymore. This was for a continuation, but now it's for this double bottom here. We consolidated off of the neckline. So what render has done is what we want the other assets that we were looking at to do, right? We have some formations that look just like this on other assets, but render's got some relative strength. It likes to be a first mover. So if it's the first mover and anything that has any like similar, if it's an asset in the same kind of sector, it might perform after render does its move. So we had this established as a form of support. It confirmed on this candle here for that continuation. So it confirmed this double bottom during that moment, and its measurable base move is, so we find the support from here to here. Let's turn off that magnet. Get the neckline. Drop this line here. Click and drag. So it's heading up to, the measurable base target is up here at $9.79. We are just trying to get acceptance back inside above this previous level support. It can still act as a resistance. We haven't really confirmed it as support yet. But if we get that, we got one candle, we need another candle pullback here, and we have this active support, then a higher high. Then we are honoring this as support, and then we can see it start to head up towards its target up here at 978. I wouldn't be a late enter. I wouldn't jump on this late. This was the perfect condition was right here on this candle. For the double bottom. So you'd use, I know some of you guys are experienced traders, but I like to talk as if everyone's new, in case there is anyone who's new. We've got like 50 some people watching. I just want to make sure that everyone understands what I'm looking at and why I'm looking at it. But yet here was the perfect condition. We got that higher high. Confirmed this level as support. It would be understandable if anyone jumped in here as well, actually. We had the pullback here and then a higher high. So if you entered here and you had your stop loss below the strong low, you might have gotten stopped out here. But if you didn't, then yeah, this was the second opportunity here. And you'd be risking to lose $100 to gain about $380. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . He's alive. Yes, I am alive. Thanks, man. How you doing, man? I'm doing all right. Justin quit today. We can celebrate. Did he actually quit? I feel like I keep hearing, like 2 weeks ago I heard that too, right? So I'm crossing my fingers that it's real. It feels like a fairy tale right now. Hit the like button. Thanks, Oliver. Appreciate it, man. So that's render short-term price action. Like it still has yet to hit this target. And right now we're at a hurdle where we need to see this level act as a form of support to help us increase our chances of us hitting that target. But yeah, renders look great. What's next? Newbie here. Can I get a little clarity on what's going on with Link? Yeah, we can look at Link's price action. Link is this incredible asset altogether. Link is my second largest bag this cycle. Yeah, last time we looked at it was this downtrending momentum right here. We got this level marked. And what we wanted to happen didn't happen perfectly, but it technically happened, right? So we wanted to see this level break. And I got this level marked as, oh, this was the bear's case scenario. We could end up, if we lose this, we could end up going down much lower. But we established a form of support. We got a double bottom here. So this is like the early entry here. So I guess I wasn't looking at it after the fact. Yeah, this is around Christmas time. I got sick again around here, so this was the move. Or if you're late to the party, we had this break here, what we were watching here. We had the pullback here instead of here, and then the higher high for a late entry, and your stop loss could be here. So Link is on its way to... Oh, we're at it right now. Okay, so we're at the liquidity-based measurable move of this break, this move here. We're trying to get acceptance into this valley area right now as we speak. So we hit this previous point of control as resistance, right? And we pulled back. And now we're trying to have the valley area act as support. If the valley area low acts as support, we confirm that by getting a higher high and simultaneously breaking this point of control, which is kind of nice. So we can end up seeing it get to this valley area high from there. So Chainlink still has a chance to keep going further up to $25.16. And that's where I'm going to anticipate for it to range from exhaustion after hitting this target. But overall, we can start deleting some of this noise. And I'm glad that we didn't confirm this head and shoulders as resistance. Because if we did, that would have been a harsh drop. Traders would have reacted off that and sold a lot of their Chainlink. But instead, we're ranging because Link loves to range. And in confluence with that point of control hit on that local resistance, we also hit the point of control from this macro range, right? So lots of confluence there. So if we end up getting this higher high and we break past this valley area high, then our next area would be the more macro valley area high here at 26.36. So yeah, Chainlink's great. The long opportunities was over here. It kind of came and went. But now we can prepare for potential shorts around this zone, around $27. Short term, scalp kind of short. SNEC to $1 ETA. We can look at SNEC too, yeah. The Fed funding rate got as low as 0.25. Any clue when they could be targeting for the end of to refinance their debt? I'm refinancing my debt this year in October, Robert. So I don't know if it'll be the best time, but this when it comes to trying to refinance your debt and we're seeing the Fed rate starting to go down, the best time to do it is at the latest point of the year you can. So I'm doing mine in October, on October 21st. So if that's any indication for to help you with your refinancing, if you've got like a house that you're trying to refinance and stuff like that, I'd recommend trying to hold it off as much as you possibly can. I know it's expensive right now. So I'm doing mine in October this year to hopefully cut my interest in half. I'm also going to do another down payment on my house so that I'm always trying to prepare for the worst case scenario. Like if anything happened to me, how would my family be able to handle all the expenses? And so my goal is to try to reduce my expenses as much as I possibly can so that they could handle it in case something wild happened to all my funds. But I'll be leaving instructions for my family if something like that were to happen, like what to do with my funds, how to even get it out of crypto, because I'm like the only person in my family that knows what Bitcoin even is. So I hear you. Just try to delay it so you can get more. The rates will go down a little bit further, so when you refinance, you have more long term. If you live near Canada or in a country where you can get a home equity line of credit, if you can refinance your house into a home equity line of credit, I would recommend doing that because the flexibility is absolutely insane, and it'll allow you can pay off your house whenever you want to pay off your house rather than being stuck on a contract. There's like no monthly payments other than the interest. So whatever your payment is up to you. So you can be as aggressive as you want. You can pay off your house in like 5 years doing it that way. CNN confirms Justin Trudeau resignation 58 minutes ago. Sweet. All right. Oh well. If I drank alcohol, I'll be drinking alcohol right now to celebrate. But instead, let's go with orange juice. So I'll just crush it with the orange juice. Hoorah. Okay. ETH. All right. Ethereum was the next request. Let's pull that up. Let's put this on a proper chart. Go to Bitcoin again. All right, we're coming down still to that value area high. Let's load up Ethereum. Has Ethereum got some relative strength yet? What's it doing? It's been so long since I looked at charts. The holidays plus like... Oh man, I missed that move. So upsetting when you have like your own setups and you... Okay, so we got... there's just this value area. We just adjust this. We don't need that anymore. Oh, we had a golden cross? Oh, this is the hourly, right? Yeah, it's the hourly. Okay. I'm going to remove that. Give noise. All right, we're in a supply concern. Okay, so Ethereum's it bottomed out here at this previous point of control. It created a double bottom. I'm going to move this anchor here and adjust this anchor here. Yeah, this was the front run move here when we broke this level. was preparing for a long and being cautious around this zone, but I didn't get in. I was in the hospital during this time. Right when this candle confirmed, this is when I had my operation. That's funny. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So we got, we broke out of this level. This was we had the break of structure into, like, I don't really prefer this. What I'd rather have is a scenario where this occurs on top of the previous resistance, the break of structure, so we can confirm it as support. So we're using the buy side liquid. We know that we're using it as buy side liquidity. We're not like using it for selling. So we have, if we get that higher high confirmation, we can use it as your stop loss guard. In this case scenario, we kind of have the breakout in confluence with the break of structure. So we pulled back here, and the break of structure occurred here. And we got above the structural point of control while being above these full body levels of resistance. So it'd be like a low confidence trade for me. So I might not even have entered that, but it's still technically confirmed the move. And right now we're in this supply concern. Right now we're combating it. And we're ranging within it, which is a good sign. So that means like if you're concerned about potential sellers' orders still being in place and they're trying to get out of the market, and we start ranging within it, it's kind of telling you that the buyers are trying to hold that location. We're hitting the structural value area high as resistance, and this is a previous structural area high. If I zoom out a little bit, you'll see where I got it from. This is from this range activity right here. What's great about this price action, macro-wise, is it's showing you warning signs of accumulation. So we had accumulation here, came down, bounced off of legacy support, came up, and now we could be building a massive inverse head and shoulders that could be winding up Ethereum to a much bigger move past the all-time high. If we get, right now these are like little mini bosses that we need to beat in order for us to get to this level and have it act as support. Like right now it's looking pretty weak against the structural value high, so we might range a bit, maybe even come down to the structural point of control again if we lose this momentum. But if we want to zoom in on the 15-minute to locations where we can confirm that, it would be, we just pulled, I'm going to get rid of this noise here. Let's get the trend line going here. That's the momentum. We've got a valley area from here to here. Valley area is messy. I'll just mark it like that, yeah. It's valley area high, the active one. So we could, kind of like what we were looking at with Bitcoin, right? It's using a previous value area high potentially as support for that continuation if we get that higher high. If we go back to Bitcoin, Ethereum, sorry. If we see this create a higher high, then we can potentially break past the structural value high and get that continuation. But if we instead, fail to create that higher high and they get acceptance to this value area, could likely come down to this level as our next area concern, but you target this value area low. And we have liquidity here stacking. We get stacked liquidity here, 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 and here. We could grab that and start becoming range bound here for a little bit. We don't have enough structure yet to prepare for that short, but if we get that bounce, then we can mark that level. And when we break that level and get acceptance into this value area, then you can prepare for a short and use this as your stop loss guard. Just make sure that if you're targeting the value area low, that strong high that we get after the change of character is confirmed, it needs to be low enough so that you have a decent risk to reward ratio. And you can kind of prepare for a short like this by setting up your short position tool and where you are anticipating where a change of character could occur. And by moving your stop loss guard, you can kind of see what's acceptable for the high. So right here is roughly as high as you kind of want it to go if you're preparing for that short. Or else it starts eating away at your risk to reward ratio, and you shouldn't take the trade. Even if you know something's going to go down, it doesn't mean you should take a short. You got to make sure you have consistency with your risk to reward ratios, or your net risk to reward ratio is going to be terrible. Hey Kyle, if you have time, could you do Popcat? Yeah, we could do Popcat. POP. Cat. USDT. I do have a coaching call that starts in very soon, guys, so I'll have to go soon. Let's go to Bybit for this, I guess. Zoom out on the daily. Okay, I've charted this before. I think I've traded this before. Okay. Ooh, when that happens, it's so annoying. Whenever, like, momentum's a really good sign to prepare for exiting trades. Or prepare for range activity or reversals. But there's sometimes these scenarios where it rides against the momentum as resistance and keeps getting higher highs. It's really annoying. It's not common, but when it happens, it can frustrate you into thinking that you closed your trade too soon. But another good rule of thumb is that's why you're patient and you wait for those change of characters, right? Because if you don't, then you're opening yourself up to those scenarios. Patience pays a lot in this space. Let's remove some of this noise. I had like a long position set up there. Okay, so this was the last area here. So we had this head and shoulders here, confirmed right here when we got this lower low. Stop loss here. The measurable base target, I believe it's already hit, it looks like. Yeah, so we hit that target and we consolidated off of this demand zone right here. And we bounced. It looks like we front run a order block, a daily order block a little bit. It might have hit on other exchanges though, so it might not have been front run. And now we are, if we zoom in on the hourly, we can look at this here. Right, we got an apex point right here. Now these are bear flags, people preparing for shorts, but again, just because it's building a bearish structure doesn't mean it's going to break to the downside. So you prepare for both scenarios. And the both scenarios in this scenario here, this trade setup, would be a break of this level right here, or the break of this level right here. And we instead broke this downtrending momentum, telling us that the pace of the sellers are now being beat by the pace of the buyers. Got that change of character. On this as support. In the 15-minute time frame, this would be a good trade. And right here, we had the proper pullback. And then a higher high. So you'd enter a long right on this candle here. Stop loss guard here. And then you launch the top of the structure for your exit. But in this case, we got to the top of the structure, pulled back a little bit, and then had a good continuation. And now we're got this level is our main area of concern. We want this to hold. If we see this act as a form of resistance, it could be a great short opportunity for Popcat. Oh, we hit this zone here too. So this was mitigated. The next time we come up here, it's going to be weaker. These supply zones, whenever you see them, they when you tap them, think of it like chipping away armor with a sword. We got a good hit here, so next time we come up, it's going to be a lot weaker. And we could have a much better chance of having that continuation structure now. But if we end up meeting it as resistance again, you just prepare. This is a good spot to also prepare for shorts. So it's best to try to front run the longs rather than longing around here because it can be high risk. Right now, we broke this horizontal level of resistance. We had a 2 candle pullback confirmation here for the move to the upside, but as soon as we hit this zone here, we got a rejection. We got an order block here, so we could come back up and tap that and continue back down. So it's looking a lot like Ethereum right now. No trade setup, unfortunately, though. You drink a beer for me. Thanks, man. Okay. Can we look at Algo? Yes, we can look at Algo. Now, I sound like a broken record when I say this about Algo, but if you're trading it with spot and you have limit orders set up, remember every morning you have to reset up those limit orders. Because around midnight, the balancing protocol will cancel your limit orders. If you're trading with futures, with contracts, the contracts are not a part of the protocol. So you don't have to worry about it with futures, but with spot, you do. Okay, so we got a neckline here. Let's try to honor this level as support. So the hourly? Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to remove that. Because we're going to have to watch at different level. Can we do ICP? Yeah, we can do that. Kyle, where do we find the coaching calls? Oh, like one-on-one coaching calls? If you go to the investor share or Finova server, Discord server, and you type exclamation point coaching. There's a command. I know your handle in the Discord, so I'll let you know then. But there's a command that you can type, like exclamation point coaching, I believe what it was. And what it'll do is it'll pull up all the links for all the coaches inside of Finova that you can do one-on-ones with us, kind of thing. We're starting to perform a tweezer top reaction on the hourly for Algorand, which is bearish. It's a reversal warning. Let me zoom out on the macro for a second. I'm pretty sure it's setting up for a big move. Yeah, it is. Okay. So Algo is trying to confirm a macro double bottom here. If it confirms it by getting a higher high on the daily, then the measurable based move is pretty significant. It's let me just do conservative target here. That's 90 cents. But what really matters is not 90 cents. It's breaking past 67 cents. If we get past that zone and we have that active support, then 90 cents is not going to be your target. Your target's going to end up being basically $2. Now, it could take a while for us to get to $2 after we get above this level. But if we get above it and we have an active support, then awesome. This double bottom is going to be the conduit to allow us to get acceptance into that value area again. So at this point, I would start marking this level, this value area, which is in line with that level at 60 cents, 692. So I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to mark this level here. So previous macro value area low. And then we got the point of control here. And the value area high here. So these are going to be our most significant levels for algo after we get that higher high in the daily, which would be a great swing trade for anyone who likes being in trades that can last weeks, sometimes months. That could be a great swing trade. We got previous value high. All right. So yeah, macro double bottom. We have a local one right here too. We're trying to honor this neckline as support on the daily. This daily candle, we want the daily candle to close above this daily full body here at 42.0. Let's see. Yeah, 42 cents. So we want this daily candle close above 42 cents, or else it could jeopardize our ability to get to these highs again. And these highs, this could allow us to get to front run the more daily move, like the daily macro move here. So this double bottom neckline can bring us to here. But if we get up here and we close above here on the daily, then we can start targeting 90 cents for the measurable base move of this. But again, what we truly want is acceptance into this value area so we can surpass that target. And zoom in on the 15 for a second. Let's pull fixed range. All right, there's our value area high. It's our momentum here. So we're just going to watch out for a little micro demand zone here, but we'll probably get a bounce. What we don't want is that change of character, because it could jeopardize the bigger move, or just cause us to range a little bit longer before we have that move. But short term, this is looking bearish. But macro, it looks like it's preparing for a bigger move to the upside. So good eye on algo, by the way. I appreciate you bringing that up, because I might actually take this more macro trade with the community soon. So I'm gonna mark these highs here on the 15-minute. Let me just mark this properly. So this is daily. Let's change the style so that's this. So the daily close above that level. And we want 15-minute support off this level. Sweet, okay. This is an algo chart, so I'll save this layout and I'll include it a part of the charts for you guys in the Discord. And just do exclamation point charts, and then it'll pull up all my chart links so you guys can see all my charts and stuff like that live, in case you want to take a peek at them and how they're drawn and stuff. Okay. Hey Kyle, based on Max's recent videos, is there a definitive way to know what new cryptos Binance will accept and add to their exchange? So, here's a fun exercise I recommend people to do. Pretend you are an asset creator and go to the exchanges and try to get listed, quote unquote, right? If you go to the application process for Binance, for CoinMarketCap or for any other exchanges, you will see in the application what is required of you as an asset creator in order for you to get listed. You can write down that list and then see if the asset that you are wanting to see if it'll get listed on Binance or not meets those requirements. If those requirements are met, and then you go to Binance's potential exchange listings page, there's like a page that kind of like gives you a rough idea of what could be listed or what's being funded. Then you have a really, really good idea of what's about to be listed, and it can get you a... It is still super high risk. Like you want to invest a smaller amount of funds before it's listed, but it's a lot easier if you do it that way, like practice it that way. And if you're trying to find out where the listing section is, just scroll to the bottom of any exchange, and you'll see like a location where you can like apply to be listed. And it costs like, for some exchanges it might cost like 10 grand, so you have to also like take a look at the liquidity for that asset. Does it have a healthy amount of liquidity to allow it to fund that fee? Does it have enough VCs to be able to fund that fee, or is it coming out of their pocket, stuff like that? But usually it's pulled from liquidity, which in my opinion should be frowned upon, but can't control what these people do. What's my average entry on Link? My average entry on Link is $7.52. I might be off by a penny or so, but like if I go over to Chainlink, I can find the exact location that we all entered a trade together as a community. It's pretty much every time, whenever I buy something, I usually tell the community what I bought and when I bought and why I bought it. It was during this flag right here. So we had this flag here on Chainlink, and we had a confirmation formation right here, and I entered. Okay, so I'm off by a little bit. When this candle, it was during this active candle, so like 769 roughly. But yeah, it was to front run the move because Bitcoin was doing its moves, and Chainlink has a ton of Bitcoin pairing liquidity. So I knew that this was the move that's going to allow us to break this 500-day range right here. Like 530-day range. I loved trading that, but it has to end at some point. But yeah, this was the front run move here to the more macro break here. This was the area of concern, but we ended up breaking past it, and I was super happy that we just busted past it and we had active support. And it's been very easy to hold it ever since. I took out my seed investments on Chainlink so far, and that's it. So whatever I invested, whatever I put in, I took out. And I did that very, very recently. It was during this range here. I think it was at $30. Yeah, during here that I got out my seed investment. So now whatever I have in there is just profits floating. Can we do ICP? Yes, we can. ICP. I'm cutting it pretty close to the coaching call, guys, so I gotta go soon. Unsure if we covered... Oh, we didn't cover Cubic. I'm sorry. I will do that first, because you asked first. Okay. BitGet, I believe, is what we usually look at. Yep. Alright, we got... So last time we were looking at it, we were looking at the bearish case scenario, it looks like. We had this neckline here. It broke, unfortunately. That came down. We got downtrending resistance here on the daily. Let me zoom it. It's a younger structure, so I'm going to use the 4 hour. Oh, that's still perfectly in line with the 4 hour. Okay. So let's mark this level here. Let's get rid of this. So I marked this demand zone here for support. So if anyone jumped in that short when we were talking about it, we could prepare for the worst case scenario, right? And yeah, we held it as support. Now I'm going to get rid of this box because we have a relatively flat line level of support now right here that we can monitor instead. We're building a descending triangle. And descending triangles is when you have downtrending resistance from the buyers constantly undercutting each other. Or sorry, sellers constantly undercutting each other. But the buyers are maintaining the support. But these do typically break to the downside because of how liquidity stacks below it. So we just got to prepare for that. But again, always prepare for both scenarios. We had a level here marked, it looks like. So I must have looked at it after the fact too. So I'm going to remove this. We don't need that anymore. And the inverse head and shoulders. This was the measurable base move here. And looks like we were off by a little bit. Look, we got off by, that's probably a large percentage, 2%, but yeah, it was about a 15% move, 12% captured. So if you're still in on this, I would actually definitely be taking some profits. We've got yeah, this downtrending resistance here, so we could consolidate until we hit it and then come back down. But this is the apex point here, so it's going to have a high volume move within the next, well, the apex point's in 20 days. But Bitcoin or any other crypto asset, where it's an impatient space, right? Visualize a loading bar from here to here. And if we have 30% left of that loading bar, we tend to have the breakout prior to that. We don't usually consolidate right to the apex point like we do in stocks, right? So it does happen sometimes, but yeah. So this level, don't want to lose this level here. If that acts as resistance, then you want to look for the next level of support, which seems to be based on this little valley area here. Let's mark this box. Zone. That's our main threat, I guess, here. And then we have this low here that we could come back down to. If we do come down, we could still go up. It looks like descending triangles is Cubic's favorite structure. It was born into one, we broke out of one, and now we're consolidating into one here. And I'd also mark this descending channel in case buyers pick it up if we break down to this level here. In case we build a descending broadening wedge and then end up breaking to the upside. Nothing fancy right now. Nothing I could prepare you for other than the short, because we don't have a really good level to watch for long. I typically wouldn't recommend you guys entering a long off that break. If this acted as support, then maybe, yes. Because then we would have acceptance into this valley area while breaking that simultaneously. And then you could target these highs again here, and then you can look for the strong low for your stop loss guard. Or you can prepare for longs down here if we end up seeing this on our support. This is the current momentum that I'd watch right here for that drop down to that level. And this is the current location for the internal change of character to confirm that drop down to here. So if this breaks, this is our next stop. We have a little order block here, but I'm not too concerned about it because it could just cause the bounce to bring us up to the change of characters neckline, this double top neckline, and then confirm the move further down. Do you think ICP could be a long-term hold? That's a good question. Oh, now we can look at ICP. I have 4 ICP. I don't have very much. When I started as a trader, I learned the hard way because I didn't really have a mentor. I didn't have a cool community. So with ICP, I learned not to invest in ICOs because I invested in the ICO and I thought I got it in a great price at $200. It was not a good price. The VCs demolished it, and there was a FTX was involved with getting it knocked down too. The first liquidity was done so poorly that the liquidity couldn't handle the market cap that they gave it, so it just plummeted from there. So you can't think of ICP as an asset where you can target the all-time highs in like the cycle like you could with other assets like Ethereum and Atom and stuff like that. But I would say if you're thinking of like a long-term hold, long-term quote-unquote, again, I would relate it to Bitcoin's top. When Bitcoin's overheated, you get out. Because when Bitcoin gets overheated and it drops, everything's going to drop with it. There's going to be barely any assets. Well, it's never happened before, at least, that have their own relative strength where they're going up while Bitcoin's going down into a bear market. So what you'd want to see with ICP is a break above this high here at 1557 to help us. Okay, that's the... Yeah, we want to break above that so we can get above this previous value area high here. Right now, we're trying to get acceptance back inside this value area again. We are approaching this previous point of control right here. Let me just mark this so it's easier for you to see. I got hiccups. Not breathing enough. We got. Okay. But yeah, we got above this neckline. Still bottom. So yeah, this was a perfect trade setup, honestly. I'll zoom in on the lower time frames. Not picture perfect in lower time frames though. But yeah, if you're a long-term holder of this, what you would want to see, yeah, above that $15 mark, have it act as support and not fail like it did here. So here we broke past it. If I zoom in a little bit further so you can see, right? We broke past it. And what you want to see is that when if we come down to retest, we want to have a higher high. But instead, we failed to create that higher high. So what we want to see is that we give it a second chance again to do it again, right? And this would likely happen simultaneously with Ethereum reaching its value area high and getting that break of structure. And then if we got that break of structure, you can start targeting $23. If we break above 23, have that act as support, $38 is the next target. Beyond that, it's this value area here. So I could see it getting to $85 potentially this cycle. Or at least $40. So it could still almost 4x from here. But to confirm that, you definitely want to have this broken. Let me just pull up before I go into any other analysis here. On my other monitor, I'm just looking at my coaching call schedule and see what timeline starts before I dive into anything. Yeah, I got a call in 6 minutes, guys, so I definitely got to head out in a moment. P.S. I meant the total crypto market cap reaching 9 trillion to 10 trillion. Ah, okay, I gotcha. That's a lot better. Oh yeah, there's my little pop-up to prepare for the call. Total market cap. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that makes more sense. Sorry about that, man. There's some a lot of real-world based assets that are, I think, that can help carry the total crypto market cap up quite a bit, like Ondo and stuff like that. The problem with if you're looking at the total crypto market cap, it's insanely inflated. Because the total market cap data APIs are usually pulled from coin market cap, and it's not taking account for the actual liquidity within the market. It's just looking at the price per share or price per coin and giving you a market cap based on that. So it doesn't mean there's going to be that much money in the market, but it definitely does mean that we could have a total market cap of that high, definitely, for sure. But it's very, very, very inflated, like super inflated when you start going into the altcoin stuff. Thanks for your insights. Oh, no problem, man. Sui can be the last one I look at, but then I gotta head out, guys. I'm sorry. I want to just keep doing this for you guys all day. Well, I got other stuff I gotta jump into. Do you have any current coupon codes for gold tier access? We don't, but I can try to get one set up for you guys for the next live. So if anyone who wants to try out Fanova, I can try to get a coupon set up for you guys for then. And so anyone who jumps in during the live next call, then or next Monday, I'll include it in the description for you. Okay, what was the other one I was going to try to... Sui. I was going to try to get done Sui for you guys really quick. I do have a call this Friday with the community. With Max Maher and I are going to be doing a call together. I'm going to help you guys set up your goals for this year and how a step-by-step system that him and I both use to accomplish those goals. No matter what they are, they could be personal. They could do with trading. They could do with your health. I usually set 3 really strong goals per year, and then I create it's not the same system that we're going to be talking about on Friday, but what I used to do before I met Max is set up micro goals that led up to the accomplishment of the macro goal. But Max has a much better system that I'm going to be adopting for this year, and it just makes you feel unstoppable. You can do pretty much anything. It's fucking insane. So I'm excited for this year. I did crush a lot of my goals this year. I didn't think I would reach 4 million this year. I thought last year's goal was 1 million. But yeah, that trade that I did from 16.9K just performed extremely well. So my wealth went from 300K to 4.1 million. But this year it's gonna be less about the money. It's gonna be more about Well, yeah, I still, I still want to build like a passive income system through dividend stocks and real estate. Um, but this year I'm focusing mostly on like health and building a passive income stream and giving myself more time to the community by building proper automation systems that can replace the admin stuff that I do today. I got to get better at delegation. I'm not really good at delegating. I'm not going to have time to do the TA on this, guys. I'm sorry. We got divergence here, acceptance to this value area, balancing out the point of control. It's going to start coming down to the value area low if we lose this point of control. So SUI is range bound right now. We have this demand zone below it, but we're in price discovery. So the more range bound we are, the better, so we can establish support off this previous resistance. But I can't do much more than that, guys. I got to call that starts like now. Appreciate anyone who jumped in on this. And anyone who's liked the video or shared. It helps a lot. I'm going to be releasing a video this week on YouTube that could help you guys with learning, especially for the beginners. And I'm going to be first it's going to start off with beginner level kind of stuff, and then it's going to start climbing up to more advanced stuff. So I can release things in order, so you can learn in order of how I release it, kind of thing. All right, guys, you have an awesome day. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys inside the Discord.